Dean Blandino. He's doing college and NFL games on Fox, including Colorado, Texas Tech, and the Falcons and the Saints, former head of officials for the NFL. You know, we only call you when somebody's upset about something. So thanks for joining us. Let's look at that play, that two-point conversion. What do you see, and was it called correctly?
Well, no, it wasn't called correctly. You watch the contact on Jasicki. I mean, he's held. And I went back and watched the coach's film, the all 22, and the back judge who's in the middle of the field and actually standing on the end line is responsible for that action. And the back judge actually reaches for his flag. And there's a mechanic where you see the action, you see the hold, and then you find the football. And if the ball is out somewhere else already, then there's no flag because the theory is there's no impact on the play. And the back judge looked, and Burrow was kind of in the process of throwing, and I think that's why he didn't throw the flag. But it's early enough where that's clearly a hold. It should have been called. And then you go to the contact on Burrow. I mean, it's forcible contact to the head neck area. There's no way around it. Referee looks to be in good position. Just either felt it wasn't enough, didn't see it, but it's a foul, and you know the Bengals should have had another shot at it.
But can officials, let's say somebody sees it, or can you gather, can you get,
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't happen very often, Dean, and I don't know if it's because of pride, professional pride of, hey, I didn't see it, or I didn't see it that way, or, you know, whatever it might be. I would think collectively we have to get this right. Whether you got it right or not, we do.
no doubt. And pride goes out the window. They don't. Nobody wants the game to be officiated perfectly more than the officials. And we know perfection is not a reasonable expectation. But yeah, they get together. You know, the contact on Burrow, the umpire is the other official, in addition to the referee, who could see that. And if the umpire sees it and says, hey, you know, I've got contact to the head neck area. Okay, great. Let's drop a flag. Or if another official, I think at the goal line, you're going to have one set of eyes on each of those receivers. So there's going to be less help in that action. But yeah, absolutely, you want them to get together if somebody sees something a different way.
Okay, but do you see a point where we start with the final 2 minutes, where there's a, you know, the eye in the sky is able to say, guys, you missed this, let's clean this up? Like, do we get to that point where this is what we're going to do, and let's say we just start out with the final 2 minutes?
We're headed in that direction. Absolutely. You look at the couple of weeks ago, right? Sam Darnold, Thursday night, we don't get the face mask in the end zone, big play, safety. So yeah, we're headed in that direction. I think the competition committee has always taken a more measured approach. And right now, there's some situations when there's a flag down, replay can assist. I think we're going to see, I don't know when, if it's next year, if it's 3 years, 5 years, we're going to see somebody up there that's going to say, hey, and the last 2 minutes is a perfect starting place, or is it scoring plays? Is it turnovers? Because officials aren't perfect. There's 150 to 155 plays a game. Overwhelming number of decisions are correct, but there's 4 or 5 plays that really affect the outcome, that decide the outcome, and you got to be perfect on those plays. And a lot of them happen in the last 2 minutes. So yeah, it's a great starting place, and I think that'll be an off-season discussion with the committee for sure.
I never understood this with the NBA, that the star players would get calls or the benefit of the doubt, because I always thought they're the stars. They don't need the benefit of the doubt. It's the guy who's the, you know, ninth man on the bench. Does Mahomes get, you know, preferential treatment because he's Patrick Mahomes? Did Brady get preferential treatment because he was Tom Brady? And if so, why?
I think that's a perception. I really do. High profile. Look, Tom Brady, probably the greatest of all time. Patrick Mahomes on his way there. So there's going to be more eyeballs. There's going to be more attention, whether they get the call or they don't. But when you look at the numbers, and I don't know the numbers this year, but whenever we did that, whenever we did a deep dive, it wasn't the Tom Brady's or the Peyton Mannings, you know, or the Patrick Mahomes that were getting all the calls. It was more even and balanced. And you know, look, there's kind of this perception that Joe Burrow doesn't get those calls. You know, I read today that he needs to start arguing more. He needs to start complaining more. I don't. The officials don't. The good ones, that doesn't affect them. They want to get it right, and it doesn't matter if it's Tom Brady or if it's a backup quarterback that's in the game. So, yeah, I think that's more perception. I don't think that's reality. But look, sometimes perception becomes reality.
Yeah, but Brady jawing at you and you're an official, that doesn't impact.
It could go one or two ways because I've heard officials that said, you're not going to get that. The more you jaw at me, the more I'm not, like, oh, this guy, like, all right, shut up, I work with Tom now and I love him and he's a sweetheart. I can't believe I say, you used to complain a lot. That's not what I'm getting from you today.
What current rule do we have to do away with?
I honestly think today, and I never would have said this 10 or 15 years ago, I think it's what we're talking about. I think it is giving the officials, giving somebody the opportunity to help correct some of these mistakes. And I use mistakes, I think it's just lack of a better term because the game is so fast.
But Dean, we keep hearing we need to make them full-time. Like, what does being full-time? Your eyesight doesn't get better. Like, you missed that call.
That call happens. That call is missed whether they're full-time or not. And during the season, they are as full-time as anybody else. They spend hours upon hours upon hours looking at film. You're never going to prevent that call. You're going to have situations where they miss calls. I don't think it's full-time. I think we've gotten to the point where the technology is so good and it can be seamless where if you and I are sitting up there and I go, oh man, we just missed a hit on the quarterback. Hey guys, put a flag down. I think that's where we're headed. I think we got to get there. I think it has to be limited. What we don't want is somebody re-officiating every aspect of every play. You can't do that.
True. It's always great to talk to you. One of these days we'll have you on and we'll just, talk about.
Yeah, just say, hey, great weekend of officiating. Love to talk to you, Dean. How's the family? One day.
Congratulations on your Dodgers, too.
Oh, thanks, Dan.
That's Dean Blandino, Fox Sports NFL college football rules analyst, and he'll be doing all the college games, NFL games for Fox, including Colorado, Texas Tech, and Falcons and the Saints.